Hi, and welcome to the second video in a three-part series on Google Forms. In the previous video, I gave you an introduction to Google Forms. I showed you how to create a form from scratch, how to add different types of questions, and how to create small quizzes. In this video, I'll show you how to create a Google form using data validation tools. Data validation tools will allow you to specify what type of specific entry your Google form can accept for each one of its fields. All of this will become more clear to you once we get going. First thing you're going to want to do is log into your Google account. Once you've logged in, if you hover over your initial in the upper right hand corner, it'll show you your login information. Next, you're going to want to go into the address bar at the top and make your way to forms.google.com. What we're going to work on today is creating a treasure hunt using Google Forms for social studies. We'll start by creating a new form by clicking on the plus button. We're creating a blank form. We're going to go ahead and title it up here in the left-hand corner. Now you'll notice any title changes here or here will be reflected. With this treasure hunt, we hope to engage the students in a different way and show them a different method of acquiring data and moving through lessons. In the video, I'm going to show you how to create a Google form using data validation tools. What data validation does, it allows you to set specific types of criteria for your answers, down to specific words, specific number combinations, true and false, and I'll go ahead and show you that as we move along through the video. Part of this social studies treasure hunt will be using the textbook for the class as part of the components for the treasure hunt. This, of course, is completely customizable to whatever you're teaching. Our first question will be, what year was your textbook published? Now here, we're going to leave this as a short answer. Since we are expecting a number, we're going to make it required because we don't want the students to be able to skip any of the questions in this treasure hunt. Here where we have the three dots or our more button, we click it and we're going to go to response validation. Now here, we're going to tell it that we want a very specific answer. So under the type, we're going to switch it to regular expression. You would think number, but we're going to set it for regular expression. Change it from contains to matches. And let's say the book was published in 2014. This is the answer it'll expect. We can also set up a custom error text in case they get it incorrect. And of course, you can customize this however you want. Once we're finished with this, let's go ahead and test it out. Remember that you can preview anything you do in Google Forms by coming up to the right-hand side and clicking the eyeball, which is your preview button. What year was the textbook published? Let's put an incorrect answer and try and submit it. Incorrect, try again. Let's try letters. Incorrect, try again. It's expecting a very specific response. So 2014, it accepted it, which is what we want. You can close your preview window and come back. Unlike a standard Google form you might create, you're not going to want to create an entire series of questions in a row, but you're going to create individual sections. Here on the right-hand side, you have an Add Section button. Click the Add Section button, and we get a new section, Section 2 of 2. Now the way this is going to differ from a standard handout or test or quiz where the student can see the next question in progression, they will not be able to see the next question until they've completed the first criteria. So in our second section, we're going to go ahead and add our clue number 2 in our treasure hunt. Once we get our section created, we're going to go ahead and add our question for our clue. What was used for paper in Egypt? We're not going to leave it as a multiple choice. We're going to leave it as a short answer. We're then going to go ahead and turn on our response validation. We're going to switch it from number to text. Leave it as contains. And this is where we're going to put our response that we're expecting. Papyrus. Our custom error text. And of course, you see, we do have error correction and spell check. Are you sure, Explorer? Required. Now let's go ahead and test it out by clicking on our preview button. What year was our book published? 2011. Incorrect. 2014. It moves us to the next section. Clue number 2. What was used for paper in Egypt? Now you'll notice I put a capital P, making it a proper word. That was not what we set up as our criteria. It has to be very specific, lowercase p. We submit it, and it goes through. Now we're going to go ahead and add a third clue. Now remember, you're going to want to create a new section, not a new question, because we want to keep the students from seeing the next question until they've completed the previous clue. Click on Add Section. Now you'll notice that they came on out of order, and this happens sometimes. If I click on the 3 dots here, our More button, go to Move Section. Now you'll see we want to move this untitled section to the bottom, so we click on that down arrow. It's right where we need it. So click Save. I'm going to change the title of my section. Now in this case, we're going to have the students search the web for the longitude and latitude of Cairo. Now it's going to be very specific, and we need a very specific answer, so we're going to add a couple of clues here under the description. Google is your friend. And don't forget, so is copy and paste. Now, we don't want to just give them the question directly, so we're going to add a question here, and rather than ask them for the latitude and longitude of Cairo, we're going to ask, what is the and longitude of the capital of Egypt? Now once again, we're going to set it to short answer. We're going to go ahead and turn on our response validation, and it's going to be a regular expression because it's going to be a mix of characters, not just numbers or just words. We're going to have it match, and I'm going to copy and paste the latitude and longitude numbers from this website when I did a Google search. Custom error text is did okay. We are going to make it required, and let's go ahead and test it out. Next, latitude and longitude. Let me leave something off, see what happens. Now notice just if it was slightly off that it's not going to work. But if I copy and paste it directly, it'll take me through. Okay, so far we've already included a couple of sources. We've included the textbook, we've included the internet and web searching. What you can also do is if you want to add other components to this treasure hunt is you could actually have a worksheet, a true and false worksheet or a multiple choice worksheet as part of one of the clues so that you can unlock the next one. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a new section. We're going to call this clue number 4. We're going to add a question to it. Let's add a little description. What is the truth? Now, for our question, once again, we're going to set it for short answer. Make it required. We're going to use the response validation. And we're going to do a regular expression again that matches the following pattern. Now, if you use a true and false sheet, you can use the pattern of the responses as the key to unlock the next clue. So in this case, let's go true, true, false, true, true. Custom error text. That final. Now, you can actually put clues within the error text so they can go back and revise it. So here we haven't put a question yet. Let's see. What is the complete the handout on Egypt. So the responses from that sheet, something short, and as part of the component of this Google form and the treasure hunt, these responses will go ahead and unlock the next clue. So let's go ahead and test it out. 2014 was what we had set. Papyrus. Longitude and latitude. I still have it saved. Now here, what were the answers? Let's see, TT, FTT. Let's add an extra one. Submit. No. True, true, false, true, true. Submit. So excellent. That'll go ahead and move us into the next question. Now you can build a number of different questions, and of course you can customize this however you want for whatever your situation is. You can create multiple forms and give them out to different groups within the class so that nobody has the same clues in the same order. One of the things that you can add to a treasure hunt or any type of similar activity like this is an obstacle or a trap. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new section. We're going to call it Boulder Trap. Can you outrun the rock? Now, we're going to go ahead and add a question in it, and we're going to make it multiple choice. So our question is, what makes silk? Question number 1, we're going to leave it as multiple choice. We're going to say ice, worms, dogs, and from here we're going to select it as required. We're not going to use our response validation, but we are going to change this right here. Go to section based on answer. So let's go ahead and review real quick. Now you'll notice each section continues to the next section once it's complete. But we're going to change this right here to go to selection based on answer. So for our incorrect ones, we're going to have it go back to section 1. We're just going to drop them all the way back. Dogs, another incorrect one, we're going to have it go back to section 1. This one, also section 1, we're going to go ahead and remove option 4. So mice will drop us back to the beginning. Dogs will drop us back to the beginning. But if we select the correct answer, which are worms, it'll continue on to the next section. And we can continue creating our questions. Let's test it out. Next. Now, if we select worms, it should take us onto the next section, but let's select an incorrect one. It jumps us all the way back. And from here, it'll force them to review their answers again until they get back to the trap where they can select again. As I showed you in the previous video, once you've completed your treasure hunt, you can go ahead and share it with your students. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's helped to give you some ideas of how you can use Google Forms in the classroom a little differently than the traditional way. Have a great day.